We're heading to another one of my favorite places for a nature walk. It's a beautiful park, and the path goes around a lake. So it's just another place to go where I can nourish my soul. So let's go for a walk. Hello everybody, today is day 4 of my fantastic water fasting adventure. It is April the 25th, and when I say that, I have to say yesterday I said it was April the 25th, it was the 24th. So welcome to Club Fred, and you can see I'm in a beautiful place. Thanks for coming along for a walk with me. I'm Fred D. Today I'm going to be talking about why your family and your friends suck sometimes and why you need to be selfish. But before I get into that, I just want to cover off a couple of things. Yesterday I was perusing through YouTube and I found a YouTube channel by a woman who has set a goal for 120 days. And she reported on day 21 that after day 8, she wasn't fasting anymore. She was intermittent fasting, but she was eating. She said she was inspired by Fasting Fat Man, and she set a very ambitious goal of 120 days. I always suggest just set open-ended goals and increase them as you meet them. Anyway, I watched her confession and then I went back over some of her other videos past day 8, and she was lying. And I can't express to you enough how disappointed I was about that. And I have about 30 people right now joining me on this fast. And one of the things I've committed to in my life is just to be honest, because my thing is, if you can't tell the truth, you're probably doing something wrong. Now, not everything we do is everyone else's business, and we can just answer with that. I don't owe you an explanation, or it's none of your business. But if you're going to put yourself out there, you need to be honest. So right now, this lady, and if you're watching, you know who you are, and I have something positive to say to you on the tail end of this, but you have a credibility problem now. How are people going to believe you when past day 8 for 3 or 4 or 5 videos you were pretending that you were on the ball and you were doing this? Look, this isn't easy. If you fail, no one is going to fault you for that. We've all failed, especially in this sphere, in this arena, right? So if you're watching, you know who you are. I want to tell you that you can do this. My advice to you is don't set quite such an ambitious goal. Just like Fasting Fat Man did, he set a goal for 30 days and then 60 days and then 90 days. And just be real, okay? Because everyone will love you for your efforts. Everyone will love you for your determination. And they will celebrate your achievements, okay? So that being said, first of all, I feel fasting fabulous, okay? In my body, physically, I feel great. Hunger is very minimal. It's a 2 out of 10. I still feel a little bit tired, but I haven't been doing much, and I don't count that as a negative. If you're fasting in your first 3 or 4 days and you feel tired and you have the opportunity to sleep more, by all means take it, because it just helps you pass the time. But I feel a little bit sad. That's just my mood right now. And if that reflects in this video, I'm just mentioning it. And the reason, I'll tell you, is because on my Facebook feed, you know, it reminds us of on this day, last year or any year that we've posted something on this day, which is April the 25th. And on this day, April the 25th, 2017, I had finally scrubbed and polished and shined up my beautiful home, which is actually where we get the name Club Fred from, because where I live has always been affectionately referred to as Club Fred. It's where I live. It's my home. But they say home is where your heart is, right? Well, look, this post came up from 2017. It was pretty much the day the sign went up on my house. It was time to move on. And I was going abroad. I had some big plans, which I didn't complete. But I didn't need that house anymore. My kids were grown. They were gone. I was embracing minimalism. I didn't want things or stuff. I wanted the freedom to travel, and I wanted a simpler lifestyle, and I had felt like I was in a rut for a long time in my home. But I looked at the pictures, and that home was 65, 70 years old, but I made it brand new. I'm a builder, and I'm a carpenter. I made that home as perfect as it could possibly be for me. Every choice, every color, every wall was placed as per my specifications, as per my preference. So I looked through those pictures and it made me sad. I miss my home. It was a special place. So that's my mood. Today I'm 211.2 pounds. I guess I lost 2.6 pounds because yesterday I lost 3 pounds and the day before I lost 0.4 of a pound. And altogether in 3 days I've lost 6 pounds. So I've lost 2 pounds a day. And if you add in the loss from my Sunday evening weight at 9 p.m., even though I finished eating at 6 p.m., there was another 4-pound difference. But this is why I say, and I've asked my fasting group, technically your fast begins after you've finished eating your last bite. So for me, that was Sunday at 6 p.m. But to keep a level playing field with a group, just weigh yourself in the morning of the day that you're fasting. And so my morning weight on that day was 217 point. I don't remember numbers. It really doesn't matter, because even if you record a higher starting weight and it looks like you've lost more weight in the first couple of days, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. What matters is you're getting healthy. The numbers are just interesting, right? What matters is, can you go the distance? Getting healthy provides all kinds of other health benefits as you drop the pounds. And for me, that has been lowering my blood pressure, reducing GERD, getting rid of edema, getting rid of anxiety, getting rid of depression, and just feeling fasting fabulous. Right now, I just feel great. I've been sitting around in Canada in the winter. We tend to hibernate. We have to live inside. It's not that nice outside. And I'm walking every day right now. And thank you so much for coming along with me on my walks, because it encourages me to get it done. So today I want to talk to you about being selfish, why you need to be selfish, and also why your family sometimes sucks. And I'm going to begin with a prayer by Sir Francis of Assisi, who wrote this in the 13th century. And it's a little bit longer. I'm not going to read it all. But the second half of it goes like this. And I hear it as a song, but I can't remember how to sing it all, or I would. But it goes like this. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, and to be understood as to understand, or to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. And it is in dying that we are born of eternal life. Amen. And I don't want to get all religious here, but this segues so nicely into something that I've said so many times, which is you get by giving. And this says, for it is in giving that we receive. And the other part, grant that I may understand rather than seek to be understood. And that's a personal challenge for me lately in some discussions I've had with others, that I need to spend more time trying to understand them. Anyway, how does this tie into my topic today of why you need to be selfish? And why does your family suck sometimes? Because it is in giving that we receive. And if we realize that, and we want to give to our loved ones, to our family, to our friends, and to our community, even be our best at our job, we need to be our best self. So how do we reconcile this? This is club soda. Yesterday, I talked about hunger, cravings, and desire. And all of those three add up to poison. They are all severely detrimental to our success in this water fasting endeavor, and further, to our maintenance program. I think there's another element to this effort that sabotages it, and it is some of us put ourselves last, right? And we have a lot of people that rely on us We have our families. We're nurturers, we're caregivers. And everybody gets everything they need before us. And for a lot of you ladies who are cooking for other people, you're always in the kitchen, you're always slaving over the stove, and you're tasting the food, and you're feeding everybody else, and you're grabbing a bite on the go, and you're so busy, but you haven't prioritized yourself. And the message is very simple. In order to take care of others, you need to be your best self. And in order to be your best self, you have to be selfish. And you have to push the others away for a while, for a time, and their needs have to come second to yours. Especially if you are morbidly obese. Because if you are morbidly obese, and I'm going to say anything beyond 300 pounds, which is generous according to the definition, you have an emergency, you have a crisis situation in your life that you need to address, and you can't let other people sabotage you. And this is where I can bring in the fact that sometimes our families suck. You know, family, we can't live without our families. They're very important. They're vital to our health and our happiness. But family is also a control system. You know, in all of our relationships, we fall into a groove, a pattern of relating with others. And it's not every groove is healthy. So we have things that are known as codependency, and we enable each other in our bad habits. You may be feeding other people in your family, enabling their bad habits in food and helping them get fat. You have modeled a bad lifestyle yourself and got fat, and they're emulating you. And you need to break that. You need to cut that off, and you need to start with yourself, because if you love them, reclaim yourself. Reclaim your autonomy. You have to tell them, I love you and I want the best for you, but this time is for me, because when I get through this and I achieve my goals, I am going to be thriving and I can give you my best self. And right now I ask you, please, to suspend your needs and your wants and give me what I need to do what I need to do. And I'm not even asking you to understand what I'm doing. I'm just asking you to respect me enough to let me do my thing. And wouldn't you like to see me healthy and thriving? And wouldn't you like to see me rolling around on the floor with my grandchildren and, you know, or my kids even, and getting healthy and running around and catching a ball, anything like that? So why does your family suck? Because everybody is selfish already. And if you've put yourself last in spite of their selfishness, and you're serving everybody else's selfish needs, and because of that you're not caring for yourself, you see the problem? The cart is before the horse. That has to stop. You have to stop that. You have to take the time for you. And you know what? Eventually they'll get it, because they love you. So they will forgive you for that, and they will be your biggest cheerleaders when you achieve. And they will understand eventually when they see the results. They will get it. In my own personal life, when I started sharing about my fasting choices, I wasn't happy at all with the response. I wasn't feeling supported. I certainly wasn't understood. And people said things like, you could die. And my answer to them was, look, I know where that idea is coming from. I used to think like that. And it's an intuitive response. If you don't eat, you're going to die. You're going to starve yourself. Your body is going to get all screwed up. And I thought like that until I informed myself, until I did my research. And further to that, now I've lived it and proved it. So the answer is, you're not coming at me from an informed position. You're coming at me from an intuitive position. And I understand how you feel. But if you look into it, you'll realize that it's okay. And don't worry about me, I'm fine. So you can reassure them about that. And the other thing to say about that is that, fasting is isolating because food is social. And we all get together around food. Everything is always about food. We go out for dinner with each other. We cook for each other. We sit down and we visit with each other. And that's all good. That's all great. So when you're not eating, it's isolating because either you're going to take yourself away from that table and go away by yourself. In some cases, forcing others or another in your life to eat alone, and very few people like to eat alone, so that's isolating. And it's hard on them, you need to understand that. And if you sit with them and you don't eat, often they feel judged. They feel weird. No one likes to eat and have someone sit there and watch them, and it makes them self-conscious, and it makes them feel like it just makes them self-conscious, right? It makes them wonder if their celebration of this food and perhaps some of their own bad habits aren't good, and nobody likes you messing with their food. Food is an emotional thing too. We're all emotionally connected to it in one way or another. Okay, one more thing I'd like to say is how do you deal with social pressure? And my advice to you when you're water fasting is tell as few people as possible. And I began this discussion by saying be honest with everybody. But in this case, if you need to lie about fasting, it's okay. Because it's hard enough. So if you're not eating, you could just say, oh yeah, I don't feel well today, I have an upset stomach, I already ate. Anything you need to say to take away that pressure and to resolve that question at that time. And otherwise, I would say to you, there's going to always be a reason to have to attend a party, a social engagement, and there's always food there, of course. And you know what? You can just say no. Like, in the grand scheme of things, even a 75-day water fast, 2.5 months, is not the end of the world if you just cut off some of your social life. For those of you who are fortunate enough, like I was, to be away from home and not have any of that to deal with, you're very lucky, and I recognize that for myself. But those of you that have that pressure, let's go back to being selfish. You have to stay home that night and wash your hair. You have a conflict in your schedule. You have other reasons you can't go. You know what? Those people will forgive you eventually. They'll get over it. So don't succumb to the pressure. My personal advice is don't tempt yourself. Keep yourself away from those events, especially at first, because it's hard enough. And don't make it harder on yourself. So with that, let me conclude by saying thank you again, everybody. I appreciate you all so much. I appreciate all the comments that you leave for me. They're all positive, and I really appreciate them. I try to respond to everybody's comments. Thanks for coming along on these walks with me on season 2 of Club Fred. It gets me out, it keeps me accountable, and I really appreciate it. And with that, love yourself, stay safe, and be awesome.